So, of course, as everyone knows, we're planning this Yatra to Vrindavan, which will be officially happening from December 25th to January 1st. And the kind of way this came about is on the, last day of the retreat. We just thought such an amazing energy and group that we had, and how can we do something dynamic and different and keep the momentum going, but also kind of take an adventure together. This came out of that with consulting with Dr. Marj, and so we're very excited to be offering this and be taking this trip together. It's going to be something very new and exciting that we've never done before, and we're going to have definitely a great time. So some of the goals of this yatra is just to kind of visit the Holy Dham together in our Sangha, which is kind of a unique, like minded association that we have, and build on the momentum that we've had from this last retreat. And then also give an opportunity for us to go deep dive into Krishna's pastimes with similar association, which we as next generation devotees and youth don't really get to do that often. And especially taking association of senior devotees. We have a couple of devotees confirmed so far with Tadra Maharaj and Vajra Hari Prabhu and a few others as well who are to be decided, but we're in talks with people to come. So it'd be very nice to have their association in the Holy Dham. And also take an adventure together. That's something we've never done before, but in a very serious mood that will actually be very kind of different from the retreats. Although our retreats are also in a similar mood. When you go to Vrindavan, there's a mood of, first of all, prayer to enter Vrindavan. And we need the blessings of Radharani and Tulsi Mari to enter Vrindavan, but also to really make use of the time while you're there to dive into Krishna's pastimes, go deeper in your spiritual practice, and take advantage of Raj. Under Bhagavan, Arvind, did you want to say anything on that point?
Yeah, I'll say something real quick. I just want to piggyback off of your point, Ritesh, where you were saying, you were advising to take advantage of the spiritual atmosphere there. I was there for 5 months last year, and my personal experience was that Vrindavan atmosphere is very, very surcharged spiritually, and anything you do, be it simple or very complex spiritually, it just like it gives tremendous results, much more than what you would do normally in your own time at your home. That was my personal experience. So please take advantage of that atmosphere and just try to remain focused.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is a unique opportunity for us, especially for those people who haven't never been to Vrindavan, never been to the Dham, and this is a first time opportunity to go in a way that's one with the like-minded association of devotees you already know and have a relationship with, and also go in a controlled environment which is a little more safe and you may feel a little more comfortable than you're doing it alone. So that's kind of what we wanted to offer here. So the official dates, I think everyone knows so far, but just to reiterate, it'll officially be from December 25th, Christmas Day, and it ends on January 1st, New Year's Day. So we'll really be bringing in this new year together in the Holy Dham, which is something that's going to be very unique and interesting and kind of exciting to get obviously, what better start to the year can you expect than being in Vrindavan together like that? And just so some people have asked kind of the timings of what everything will start. There'll be a rough start time of 4 p.m. on December 25th and a rough ending time on 1 p.m. of January 1st, just so if anyone's planning to travel around that. But as I've told a few people already, traveling to India is not. It's not as simple as obviously in the U.S. where you can just book a flight based on when you need to get there. There's only a few flights a day into Delhi from different cities. So travel when it's most convenient for you and when you think is the best time. And obviously, we'll arrange to travel based on that, even if you have to come a little early or miss a little bit of the yatra and come a little late on that day. The flight timings can be a little tricky, so just keep an eye on that. And one thing to note is that on day one and on the day 7, the last day, we won't be taking any travels within Vrindavan or Vraj. We'll be doing everything at the retreat center that we're located at. So that way, even if you arrive a little late or you arrive a little early, you won't be missing anything. You can just come directly there on those days. And speaking of travel, so the airport to fly into would be New Delhi Airport Indira Gandhi International. And I think the airport code for that would be DEL. And if you're flying from the US, what we would really suggest is that try to find devotees who are um, flying from near your area, or if you're, like, for example, on the East Coast, from airports in your, surrounding cities, that it would be a lot easier to travel together and in a group, and I think you feel a little more comfortable doing that, and also it'd be easier for us to arrange your travel when you get there, because if we have groups coming together, it'd be a lot easier. Because the plan right now is that on the first day, December 25th, when on the arrival time, there'll be multiple 2 or 3 buses and a few taxis going from Delhi to Vrindavan that day. And we will be offering, as part of the cost of the retreat, there will be the taxi and bus, is included in that. But that only starts on December 23rd and it ends on January 3rd. So just because if you're coming earlier than that and leaving later, it's not as feasible for us to arrange a travel, but we can definitely help still in arranging travel if you're coming earlier or later. So you can just reach out to us on the side. But there'll be multiple buses and taxis on the first day, December 25th. And if you're arriving 1 or 2 days before, that's the 23rd or 24th, there'll be taxis which we organize in groups. And then for those who are arriving earlier as well, we'll have one bus from Krishna Balaram Mandir to the retreat center that day for people who are already in Vrindavan. And the reason we're doing like this is just because it'll be easier and safer to travel in groups from Delhi to Vrindavan. So just be aware that you may have to wait at the airport for a couple of hours, or you may have to kind of coordinate with other devotees that are flying into the airport at a similar time, so we can take people in batches versus one or two people at a time. It'll just be more convenient and safer in that way. And the same thing goes for the way back. If you're going back on the first, there'll be multiple buses and taxis which are going from Vrindavan to Delhi. And again, we may have to take you a little bit early to catch a flight. Just to note, traveling to the airport in India, if you haven't done it before, is a little bit different than traveling to the airport in the US. You need to get there extra early and make sure all your arrangements are made. So even if it seems like you're going really, really early in that day for your flight, it's probably for the best. So, and again, we'll be grouping people together so no one's traveling alone at any time. And organizers will always be involved in the travel with local devotees, trusted local devotees that we know who are arranging all the travel with safe drivers and safe routes that are already vetted. So if you're concerned about that, you can reach out more to have more information about details like that. But we're only working with devotees that we trust over there and have been proven to be safe drivers and have safe routes and everything. So, and one thing is also, we're also I haven't mentioned it here, but the travel will also be safely organized in the sense of that there won't be any travel from Delhi to Vrindavan after a certain point of the day, or vice versa, Vrindavan to Delhi at night, because it's just not as safe to drive at night from Delhi to Vrindavan after you get to a certain point at night. So in those situations, we may have to arrange for you to either go to Delhi one day early and stay there, or vice versa, come to Vrindavan, a day late, something like that, so we can make sure that you get to your flight on time in a safe way. Accommodations that are happening. So we have already booked and have confirmed to stay at the ISKCON VIHE Govardhan Retreat Center. And it's actually a brand new facility. It's actually still in construction, and their grand opening is actually in October. So their first retreat actually there will be November. So we'll be one of the first people using this brand new facility actually, and it's actually built to have first class accommodations, even by Western standards, clean and managed very well. It's actually a facility that was a project that was created by Burijan Prabhu and Sachinandan Swami for their Japa retreats and the other programs from the VIHE that they do. So it's, we know the organizers and the managers there, and it's going to be a very top-notch facility. And it's also removed from the hustle and bustle of Vrindavan it's in Govardhan, first of all, but even from Govardhan, it's even though it's close to Govardhan Hill, it's a little bit removed to where it's kind of a secluded and safe environment, and a little more isolated for us to have our own sangha without being exposed too much to the outside environment. And so, yeah, we've had local devotees assisting us and make sure we're having good rooms and usage of all the facilities. And just a note here about the dates. So there's a Yatra, like we mentioned, it's the 25th to the 1st. So the accommodation that we've secured there is only from December 25th checking in and checking out on January 1st. So for those of you who are coming earlier or leaving later, like I said, we can help with those travel arrangements if you need to come to Vrindavan, or go back to Delhi a couple of days before or a couple of days after. But if you're looking for a place to stay, just make sure you know that the official accommodations are only in those days. I know some of you who are coming earlier or leaving later probably may have some connections or are using some connections to find a place to stay in Vrindavan. But if you need assistance, we can direct you in the right place to figure out where you need to stay, you know, before or after those dates if you're staying behind. We would definitely suggest staying near Krishna Balaram Mandir after the yatra or before the yatra, just because it'd be more convenient for you, and obviously maybe more devotees you may know around. So safety and health. One thing we just want to say is that our priority going to this yatra is that doing it in a very safe way and making sure everyone is taken care of and making sure that everyone feels comfortable traveling to India, especially for those of you who are going for the first time, is a new experience. So we do have trusted local devotees, like I said, making sure all our arrangements are safe in every regard. And we will create a group system of travel so that whenever we're going out on our daily parikramas, or we're doing different travel between point A to point B, or even from the airport to Vrindavan, we'll make sure that you're always within a group with each other and someone is with you, so that no one's ever alone and has to ever feel in unsafe situations. All the transportation arrangements, like I said before, are vetted with drivers and routes that have been trusted. And another thing to note is that we'll go over the daily schedule in a little bit, but all the activities in the evening will actually take place in the retreat center itself. So that's an isolated and safe environment with security. So after you won't really be having to be out at night by yourself, so you can feel safe in that regard as well. And like I said, we have trusted local devotees with us at the retreat center and on our travels as well. We'll have a nurse, Bhagavan, traveling with us as well for health reasons, and if you have any issues. But we would suggest that you should be prepared for your own health needs, to bring your medicines and whatever you may need, and just plan in advance for that, because it's not like obviously here when you can just as quickly get things. So we'll have all the first aid and medicines as well, but we should be prepared if you're coming, just to something to keep in mind. And we'll also have, of course, arrangements in case of medical emergencies with local devotees and local medical help in case of that situation happening. So just some of the places we'll visit on this trip. This is a kind of condensed list. There's a few more that have been worked out in the schedule so far, but Govardhan, we'll obviously be staying at Govardhan Hill, and then we'll spend a lot of time in the Govardhan area as well. But Nandagaon, Barsana, and Raman Reti, the Vrindavan town, all the 6 Goswamis temples, Terkadamba, Gokul, Raval, Vrindakund, and of course there's other places on the list I haven't put, but just to kind of give you an idea of the different pastime locations that we'll be going and visiting. And we'll have devotees with us who are knowledgeable in all of these places, and also devotees who are expert in telling us about these pastimes and getting us into the right mood in these places. So, and just so you can kind of know a daily schedule on what our yatra will look like. It's a rough schedule. Like I said, the first day and the last day will be a little different because we're not traveling anywhere. But we'll have Mangal Arati at 4:30 every morning, and we'll actually leave very early in the morning at 5 a.m. Right before the sun comes out, so that we can kind of get to our destinations early. And we'll have our rest of our morning program at the locations with breakfast traveling with us as well. So with Guru Puja, Bhagavatam class, everything will be at the location we're traveling to. And really for the first half of the day will be travel arranged to the places I was mentioning here before. And we have a schedule kind of that follows in those successive days where we're going. So that way, the best reason we do that is because, one, it's best to catch these places in early morning. It's less busy, and also we can get back at a nice time, and lunch will travel. Prashadam will travel with us as well. And so we'll be going to different places between around roughly 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. with different kathas at different places, kirtans as well throughout the day. And in a goal to get back to the retreat center at 2 p.m. so you have a solid 2 to 5 p.m. break, because these days can get tiring, so we want to have a solid 3-hour break every single day. And then we'll have 5 p.m. more katha with our senior devotees and discourses, and saw kirtan every evening as well. And we will be ending these yatras every evening early because we are getting up quite early to get to make from Mangalarti on the bus. So it's a little different mood than our TSI retreats because it's all focused on making sure that we can fully dive into Krishna's pastimes. So everything will be set up schedule wise, even prashadam wise. Dinners will be very light, if even at all. So that everything is just creating a conducive environment to dive deeper into Krishna Katha and have your good experience in Vrindavan. So special guests, many are in progress, but two that we've already confirmed is with RT Swami and Vajrahari Prabhu. And RT Swami will be there for a while actually, and obviously someone very dear to all of us, and Vajrahari Prabhu as well, who lived in Vrindavan for many, many, many years, and he was an organizer of the Via HE actually. So he has relationships there and knows Vrindavan very well. So we're also haven't confirmed but are in talks with Bhutta Bhavana Prabhu to come. With Hari Parshad Prabhu to come. So there's a few other female devotees as well that we're in talks to come. So we'll have a lot of senior devotee association. Our goal is to really make it like as much association as possible with senior devotees and obviously with each other as well, so that we can kind of really not just be in Vrindavan but be in the right association together. So and then that's kind of all I have officially. Bhagawan, Arvind, did you guys want to say anything, especially on the safety or the schedule parts or anything like that? You have to unmute.
Arvind, do you have anything to say?
No, you go ahead first.
Okay. I just wanted to, a couple of highlights from Ritesh pretty much gave all the kind of logistics in terms of, some of the things that are going to happen at this Vrindavan Yatra. And obviously we're still kind of meeting and trying to make sure everything is planned out perfectly for everybody. This Yatra is, again, it's a little different than kind of your normal TSI retreats. I think that Vrindavan, like Arvind kind of mentioned, is a very spiritually surcharged place. I can say from personal experience, there was one year in December of 2014 that I had actually gone for a yatra with Ramapad Maharaj, and there was a few days before where I actually went and we visited a few places with some of my best friends, and I think that it was pretty amazing just to be in that sort of environment with friends that are like-minded and people that you feel very close to. And it's almost like Arvind mentioned, like whether it's simple or whether it's something, where you do, where it's a little bit more kind of involved in terms of your service or your Christian consciousness. It's just, there's something about just being in Vrindavan that's already so spiritual that if you really kind of focus in on taking it in a very serious way, and almost being in an environment where you're like, for this 1 week, I'm really just going to kind of unplug and really just fully dive into Krishna consciousness. I think that's really our goal more than anything for this Vrindavan Yatra, because it's a very spiritually surcharged place. And I think that when you do kind of dive deeper into your Krishna consciousness in that way, from my personal experience, I felt like I was able to make so much advancement. And I felt like in many ways, a lot of my doubts in one sense in Krishna consciousness were very much cleared. And then on top of that, the secondary is being able to do it with people that are your friends. And I think that what that does is it allows us to be able to also have a very fun kind of adventurous experience as well. So I think that this is a really good opportunity for everybody. I know that a lot of people are not as comfortable going in India. Like Ritesh mentioned, it's a little different than just traveling in the US or going to Gitanagari for a retreat. But I think that we do have a lot of connections and a lot of trusted local devotees, including, Ritesh mentioned Braja Bihari Prabhu. Obviously, his son Gokul Raj is heavily involved in the planning as well, and he knows Vrindavan really, really well. He actually was born there and grew up there, was there for 17 years. So I think that we are going to have this plan really, really well to a point where everybody feels really safe. And I think that that's kind of something that's the most important to us actually, because there could be a little logistics in terms of transportation and accommodation, things of that nature. Um, and so we're really trying to focus in on just understanding um, what we could do to make sure everybody's safe, whether it's from a health standpoint. We want to make sure, for example, if someone does get sick, what's the process? Is there a doctor that you can go see? Do we have a connection to a local hospital? And making sure we have all that research done before everybody gets there. Um, and even outside of the scope of the 25th to the 1st, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that, like, as the planning team, like, we are here to help y'all in whatever ways that we can. Um, and we're going to be heavily involved in terms of making sure that everybody is accommodated for very nicely through transportation, and especially even if one of us, which I think that we are planning on doing this, is being on those bus rides, going back and forth, being on the taxis, even if it's the day before or the day after, whatever it is. Um, we're there to serve all you in that way. So um, I don't know if Arvind, you had anything else to kind of add to that, but those are just some of my thoughts.
No, that was great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one thing I want to reiterate about the travel is just that, even if you're coming a few days early, a few days behind, we will help arrange your travel. So I guess even until those days, we can help arrange travel, especially, and whatever questions you may have, you can feel free to ask us anytime. And one point we wanted to make is we didn't talk about the price on this PowerPoint. I forgot to put that on there. Actually, it's on our website, but it is $300 for the 7 days, and that's all inclusive though, which means that if you can get to Delhi airport, then we'll take care of everything else. So we just want to make sure that just to reiterate that is that's everything will be taken care of in a very nice way. That could you don't have to worry about anything other than getting yourself to the Delhi airport. Yeah. So, any questions from anybody before we kind of wrap it up? Okay, I see one question in the chat. Are any of the parikramas included as part of the retreat? I'm sorry, we may have to clarify that question. I'm not sure.
Hi, this is Mia Farajta. What I meant is like Vrindavan Parikma or the Govardhan Parikma or even like the general Vraj Parikma, or there's so many, but the major ones being those 2 or 3. Are any of those included as a part of the retreat, or is it just going to be purely Sangha and class oriented?
Yes, definitely. Govardhan Parikram is going to be one dedicated day, definitely. That's already a part of the schedule. Vrindavan Parikram may not be, just because we're staying, in Govardhan, not in Vrindavan town. And so also, we're visiting all the holy sites. So, I'm sure we'll be doing Parikram Radhakund within Govardhan and different areas as well. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone know how to get cheap flight tickets? Yeah, there's a couple ways. So I would just come from personal experience. Use a few different websites, Google Flights and Priceline, different things. But especially Google Flights and Priceline and different websites, you can set up an alerts as well, so that every day you'll get an alert if the price drops or if the price goes up. So that way, and you can also check from, like, for example, if you're in the East Coast and you can have multiple airport options, you can do it from multiple airports. I would check. So that would be the best way I would think. I don't know if anyone else has any tips for that. So, and yeah, just obviously one thing to mention is that December in general, flying to India is obviously an expensive time to fly to India compared to other times. So just one thing to keep in mind, that when you're looking at tickets, that's kind of the situation, just because it's a time when people are out of school and off of work, so tickets just tend to get a little more expensive for that month. what's the last day to register for the retreat? We have not yet set a last day actually because, um, to be honest, we can without too much difficulty we can add you in pretty late into the process. But we have talked about setting a final day of November 1st. So most likely that'll be the date, but we'll confirm that very soon and put that on our website and everything. So. Obviously, I would suggest that if you are coming, the earlier you book the tickets, the better, because the longer you wait at this point, the more the tickets could go up. So, yeah.
Also, I just wanted to mention, if it's possible for all of y'all to just travel in groups, we are trying to create these sort of kind of like, I guess, reps in different areas. That's kind of what we're calling it. So, for example, like there might be somebody in Jersey and Houston and I don't know who else I see over here, but the different cities where we can kind of see how we can arrange for people to travel in groups. It's usually a lot easier to be able to travel in India in groups. If it's not possible, it's fine too. But if you're able to kind of connect with some of your friends that are in your city, that tends to work out nicely.
Yeah.
There are a lot of flights that go out of New Jersey as well, EWR. Um, and so let's say you're coming from other places, especially like in the Northeast, and you go into Jersey and maybe everyone kind of flies together. It also makes it a lot more fun, to be honest. And so if you're able to do that, great. And then we kind of cluster people together whenever they get to Delhi.
Yeah.
And we're able to kind of have everybody cluster on certain times as we're bringing the bus back and forth. And that whole sort of group system, I think that we're going to adopt that even more during the retreat as well. Again, it'll be a little different. Obviously, we have like our Sangha groups within our normal summer retreats, but our Sangha groups here will also kind of be like safety groups a little bit. We kind of keep track of each other and are accountable for each other type of thing. A little bit kind of like a field trip, to be honest, but at the same time, there's a reason for it, and it's for everybody's safety. So that's kind of part of our idea, is kind of creating these sort of safety circles just to make sure everybody is safe. Obviously, at the Govardhan Retreat Center, I think it's what's nice about this sort of plan for us is that it's a very kind of controlled environment, and just being in the retreat center and having a brand new accommodations, which is super nice. And we're ending kind of the day early. But obviously, when we go out to all these different places, India is a very busy place. So I think that like making sure that we're kind of together and not kind of wandering off, that's super important to us. And so we're trying to make sure that we are able to create this sort of environment that's controlled, but at the same time, not making it seem like we're not trying to have fun through the whole process.
Yeah, definitely. A couple things to also mention would be that before coming, I would definitely suggest everyone to look into their cell phone plans, what their international plans are, or if they're going to get a India phone. It's not. It used to be you could just get any SIM card in India, but now you have to have an Aadhaar card and all this stuff. So it's not as easy as it used to be. Just to keep that in mind, because you may need to plan in advance for being able to communicate back home and within India as well. So. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
How does it work with converting like currency? Do you do that once you're there? Do you do that before? Like, do you need like?
I would suggest the best method would be to whatever cash you're bring it from the U.S. and then convert it either in the airport would be the most safe way. There also in Vrindavan there are a few people, especially near Krishna Balaram, and they're coming early who convert cash as well. So Arvind, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd suggest. I mean, I was going to suggest that we just do it in Vrindavan, but logistically it may not work out. But
yeah, it just depends on
usually you don't want to do it at the airport necessarily, although you might need some just for a couple of days. But I would recommend we'll find a place. I know a few places in Vrindavan that are very good. I don't know about Govardhan, but we will find something.
Yeah, but I'm just saying logistically, if you're going with a small amount, then airport. Also, another thing to note is that there's a lot of people in India nowadays take credit cards, and if you have a credit card with no transaction fees international, that's also a good move. I mean, cash mainly you're going to need for smaller items these days. So, Any other questions? The main language in Vrindavan, yeah, it's Hindi in Vrindavan. I mean, but it's not even, if you're a Hindi speaker, also this it's a different type of Hindi in Vrindavan, like Bach. I don't know if you, I mean, I would, I don't know if you need to worry about that too much because there's enough English speakers and there's enough organizers that will be able to, yeah, translate and do a lot of the talking. So, but yeah, if you know Hindi, that's great. So. And one thing I just want to reiterate this before we end is that please do keep in touch with us, myself, Bhagavan, Arvind, and Gokul Raj. Throughout your process, we're happy to hear about your planning to get there and your trip and your travel. And if we need help in any way or give you any assistance or connect you to other people that may want to fly together, like Bhagavan was saying, if you fly together with people from the same city, it would be great. But even if you're planning to fly separately, if you want to just coordinate, hey, I want to arrive at a similar time to Delhi with these people, then and that's also good. So just keep us posted on your travel and your trip. So we'll be sending out something soon, which kind of where you can put all your travel information in once you book it. But even if you just shoot us a message or shoot us an email, that's great as well. So okay, any other questions?
I guess I'll just ask this again if that's okay.
Sure.
I know you're mentioning it, but these representatives in these different regions coordinating group travel, I've never traveled outside the country. I'm just hoping that there's like maybe group chats to talk about like what people are doing. I don't have as many associates yet, so I'm just I'd like to, figure out how that would work.
Yeah, that's good. So we're gonna just sending out information about the representatives this week and who they are. But also, good idea. I think we will start a group chat for people who are looking to travel, and you can join that WhatsApp group, and people can kind of post what their plans are. I'm not sure where you are, but if you're, maybe I know there's a good group coming from New Jersey so far, from Houston, from DC, from different areas. So. Depending on if you want to coordinate to go to one of those places or find people kind of coming to you, then that's definitely an option. But yeah, we'll send out more details about that this week so you can know who those people are. And also, even outside of those people, we'll start that group so you can connect and just post and say that you're looking for people to travel with. So
Yeah, I think also just I think it's Marissa, right? I think that even if you just post on the WhatsApp group for TSI, once you kind of have an idea of maybe when you're traveling or something like that, I have a feeling that probably there's going to be a few people maybe kind of in your area that you can kind of coordinate with. But like Ritesh said, I think that we'll share all these contacts regardless, and so that you can kind of reach out to the person that's closest to your city. Where do you live, Marissa?
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh. Okay. Sounds good. So we'll be able to arrange someone to kind of help you out.
All right, thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
anyone else? Any other questions here? Wrap it up. All right. Well, yeah. Just wrapping it up, I just want to say we are very excited to be planning this trip and hopefully creating this experience for everyone in a very nice way. I think it's going to be something that's going to be very unique and honestly once in a lifetime experience to go with this group and this time. So please, if you're coming and have any hesitations or questions or concern, like I said, feel free to reach out to us and at any time or with anything that you may want to ask or have a concern about. And we're happy to give you an answer or try to find the answer for you or facilitate something for you. And yeah, Bhagavan, Arvind, you want anything to add there? No? And yeah, we look forward to hopefully seeing you all in Raj in December. So, Haribol.